What's going on guys, CasualSavage here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the new feature in Vegas Pro 15 known as Picture in Picture. Now loads of people, and including myself, have said this effect is pretty useless, and I thought that as well until I actually used it, and you'll find out why in the video what actually changed my mind. Because of course with Picture in Picture we can create the exact same effect using pan and crop, or of course just using the track motion. So here we are in Vegas Pro 15. I have two of the same videos duplicated, one on top of the other. One is color corrected with LUT filters. If you want to know how to do that, check out my previous video. And the other is just standard flat colors. So Picture in Picture, once you have selected it from the video effects, head on to one of these. Now I will add on the default, and now this is why I actually found it useful, even though it's Picture in Picture and we've basically had it in the past using track motion. The main reason is because I can move it from here now. It's much more quicker to just size it down, position like that. You can see just like that it's done. Also the angle, I can mess around with it right here, change it back to 0 if I want to. For me, using this compared to how I used to do it has been a lot quicker. But one thing I'm not too sure of, because we're actually applying a video effects, I wonder if the rendering time will be bumped up compared to when we use track motion. But it's very simple to do, and that's probably the main reason why I do prefer it over using track motion to create this effect, because I can now come over here to the live video and just simply drag it around. Now it's also like Premiere Pro, so that's why I also like it, because Premiere Pro also have this feature where you can just drag it around directly on the screen. Another thing I like, as you can see, I can just simply click and move it around. Usually when I use it on track motion, when I'm moving it around, it will lag. So for this, it's pretty good. One thing that would probably be good if you could have it snapping into places. So for example, it would snap there, snap there, snap there, so you can be a bit more accurate with it. And another thing I don't like, you cannot actually use your arrow keys to position it. So that's one downside compared to track motion. With track motion you can be more accurate using your arrow keys. But other than that, it's a really good feature, and of course we can do some animation with it as well by pressing the clock and the plus button on any of these. So we'll create a small animation now. So scale all the way down, I'll select the animation button. I'll come across on my timeline, 4 seconds. I'll put that back to here. We can also then position the angle or animate the angle. So I'm going to come back to the start. I'm going to turn the angle all the way down. I'm going to select the animation button. I'm going to come across to here. I will then bring the angle back to 0, so it's back to normal. And then finally the opacity. I'm going to animate that as well. So I'm going to turn that all the way down, clock, come across to the same keyframes again, and I'll put that opacity back to 1. So that means 1 is going to be full opacity. Now one thing I didn't actually mention is you can also animate the location. So press the button here, I will go back onto the first frame, and right here I'm going to leave it the same because it's already in a good position for me. But as I come across to here, I want it to be up there, just like that. And then from there you can always select the keyframes, right click them, and you can choose how it will look. So for me, I always like going with a smooth fade or a slow fade, but I'm going to go with smooth for all of them for now. So you can select one and then hold Control and select the others, like this. Then we can right click and select smooth fade. So now I'm going to play it through from the beginning, and this is what we've just done with Picture in Picture. Just like that. Now comparing to what we've just done using the Picture in Picture effect compared to what we'd be using in track motion, it's been done a lot quicker and a lot more simple. So very quickly I'm going to take everything off that I've just done, and I will literally try to recreate that using track motion. So track motion's here. We don't get control of the video, we actually have to come here and position it. Now another thing, if you want to position it straight from the center, you need to make sure this is also checked scale about center. So we can turn this down, then move it to a position like here, and then here's the advantage of track motion. We can use our arrow keys on the keyboard to be a lot more accurate. And also, like I mentioned, I wish picture in picture had snapping. Track motion has snapping here. You can see, using the arrow keys, it's just snapping into each place like that. Then of course comes the keyframes. So we're going to make it all the way small again. As small as I can. There we go. And then I'm going to come across to 4 seconds, right click and restore. Now for the first frame, I'm then going to spin it completely off like here. Of course we need to position this last frame into the correct place how we want it. So I'll have it just there, and now let's place through, and that's how it looks. I mean, it still looks good, but it's a bit more time consuming. We don't get control of the opacity. I don't know if you noticed that. In track motion there's no control of opacity. I don't believe there is anyway. And compared to the amount of spins we can get in picture in picture, you cannot get that in just track motion itself. But I'll leave it up to you. Me personally, I do think the picture in picture is turned out to be a better feature than I originally thought, because it makes everything a lot more simple.